Have you ever found yourself saying yes to something when every part of you wanted to say no? Maybe your neighbor asked you to water their plants for the third week in a row, or your grandson texted last minute to ask for a ride across town. You want to help, of course. You've always been there for others. But lately it feels like your own energy is slipping away faster than it used to. And deep down you're thinking, when do I get to say enough? If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. As we get older, our time, energy, and peace of mind become even more precious. But sometimes the people in our lives, even the ones we love most, don't realize how much we need to protect those things. That's why today, we're talking about 4 simple phrases to help you set boundaries with kindness, confidence, and grace. These aren't about shutting people out. They're about honoring yourself so you can show up as the best version of you for the people and activities that truly matter. Let's start with a scenario I'll bet many of you have faced. Your phone rings. It's your daughter asking if you can watch the grandkids this weekend. You love those little ones, but you've been looking forward to a quiet couple of days to finally tackle your garden, or maybe just read that book collecting dust on your nightstand. You hesitate, then hear yourself say, "Oh, all right, I'll make it work." But inside, you're already exhausted just thinking about it. Here's the thing. Saying yes when you mean no doesn't just drain your energy. It can leave you feeling resentful or even invisible. That's where our first phrase comes in. Try this. I need to prioritize my time right now, but I'd love to help another day. Let's break that down. I need to prioritize my time. That's you acknowledging your own worth. Another day leaves the door open for future connection. You're not rejecting the person. You're simply choosing how to spend your energy. For example, you could tell your daughter, "Sweetheart, I need to prioritize my time this weekend, but let's find another day soon when we can all have a fun visit." Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but won't they think I'm being selfish? Here's the truth. Setting boundaries isn't selfish. It's self-care. And when you model that, you're teaching others how to treat you. Which brings us to our second phrase. Picture this. You're at a family gathering, and your nephew starts giving unsolicited advice about your finances. Or maybe a friend keeps insisting you should downsize your home, even though you've made it clear you're not ready. These moments can leave you feeling like your choices don't matter, like your voice is fading into the background. That's when you gently but firmly say, "I appreciate your concern, but this is my decision to make." Let's talk about why this works. "I appreciate your concern" shows you've heard them. It softens the message. "My decision" reclaims your autonomy. You're not arguing, you're stating a fact. For instance, if your brother pushes you to move into a retirement community, you might say, "I appreciate you looking out for me, but where I live is my decision." Let's talk about something else. How's your golf game these days? Now, I won't sugarcoat it. Using these phrases might feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you've always put others first. You might worry about rocking the boat. But think of it like this. Boundaries aren't walls, they're guide rails. They help people understand how to love and respect you better. And the more you practice, the more natural it'll feel. So far, we've talked about protecting your time and honoring your choices. But what about those moments when someone crosses a line you didn't even know you had? Or when guilt creeps in after you've set a boundary? Well, that's where our next 2 phrases come in. You need to start using those first 2 phrases, protecting your time and standing firm in your choices. But here's the reality. Sometimes, even when we set a boundary, people don't listen. They might push back, guilt trip you, or act like your no is just a suggestion. Ever had someone say, "But you're not that busy, are you?" Or, "Come on, it's just this once." Oh, I've been there too. That's why our third phrase is so powerful. Ready for it? "I've already given my answer, and I need you to respect that." Simple, clear, and oh so important when someone keeps circling back. Let's break this one down. "I've already given my answer" stops the conversation from going in loops. I need you to respect that shifts the focus to their behavior, not your boundaries. Imagine your cousin keeps pressuring you to loan them money, even after you've said no. You could say, "Jim, I've already told you I can't lend you anything right now. I need you to respect that. Let's talk about something else." Now, I know how tough this can feel. We don't want to seem harsh, especially with family. But here's the thing. Repeating yourself isn't rude, it's clarifying. You're helping them understand that your boundaries aren't up for debate. And sometimes that's the kindest thing you can do for both of you. But what happens after you set a boundary? That's where so many of us get tripped up. You say no, and then the guilt creeps in. Was I too strict? Should I have just said yes? Sound familiar? That's why our fourth phrase is all about self-compassion. Try this. I'm doing what's best for me right now, and that's okay. Say it to yourself, out loud if you need to. Write it on a sticky note. Put it on the fridge. This phrase isn't for anyone else. It's a reminder to you that your needs matter. Let's say you decline a friend's invitation to a big family reunion because crowds tire you out. Later, you start second-guessing. Maybe I should have gone. I don't want them to think I don't care. That's when you pause, take a breath, and say to yourself, I'm doing what's best for me right now. And that's okay. Guilt is a sneaky thing, isn't it? It whispers that we're letting others down. But here's the truth. You can't pour from an empty cup. When you honor your limits, you're not being selfish. You're making sure you have something left to give to the people and passions that light you up. Now, let's talk about putting this into practice. Maybe you're thinking, these phrases sound great, but what if I freeze in the moment? That's normal. Start by rehearsing when you're alone. Say the words out loud. Write down a scenario that's been nagging at you and script out your response. You might feel silly at first, but trust me, it helps. For instance, if your neighbor always drops by unannounced and stays for hours, jot down. I love our chats, but I need to keep mornings for myself. Let's plan a visit next week instead. Keep in your pocket if you need a reminder. The more you prepare, the more confident you'll feel when the moment comes. And remember, boundaries aren't about perfection. There will be days when you cave and say yes to something that drains you. That's all right. Progress, not perfection, is the goal. What matters is that you're taking steps to protect your peace, your time, and your joy. We've just covered two more essential phrases. One to stop pushback in its tracks, and another to quiet that nagging guilt. But what about those times when a boundary needs to be bigger? Or when someone reacts poorly, no matter how kindly you phrase things? Let's talk about the elephant in the room. You've set a boundary, maybe using one of those phrases we discussed, and instead of respecting it, someone pushes harder. They might sigh dramatically, accuse you of being difficult, or even try to negotiate. Why can't you just this once? You're overreacting. Suddenly, you're not just setting a boundary, you're defending it. Here's what I want you to remember. How someone reacts to your boundary says everything about them and nothing about you. You're not responsible for their feelings, only your own. So, when tensions rise, take a deep breath and return to your phrase. Repeat it like a mantra. I've already given my answer. This is my decision to make. You don't owe anyone a novel-length explanation. Of course, some people will test you, especially if they're used to you always saying yes. Take my friend Martha. Her book club kept meeting later and later, and she'd come home exhausted. She told them, I need to leave by 8 p.m. to keep up my energy. The first few times they teased her, oh, live a little, Martha. But she kept politely leaving at 8, and guess what? Eventually, they started wrapping up earlier. For everyone, by holding her ground, she helped the whole group respect their limits. Now, let's address something we haven't talked about yet. Evolving boundaries. What felt good last year might not work today, and that's okay. Maybe you used to host holiday dinners for 20 people, but now the noise and chaos leave you drained. It's all right to say, this year, let's keep it small. Or perhaps you've realized you need more downtime between visits with grandkids. That's not a failure. it's wisdom. Our needs change as we move through life, and that's something to celebrate. It means you're paying attention. You're listening to your body, your heart, your spirit. And when you communicate those changes with kindness, you give others the chance to grow alongside you. Let's tie this all together. We've talked about 4 key phrases. 1. I need to prioritize my time right now. 2. I appreciate your concern, but this is my decision. 3. I've already given my answer. 4. I'm doing what's best for me right now. But the real magic isn't in the words. It's in the belief behind them. The belief that your needs matter, that your time is valuable, that you deserve peace. So start small. Maybe today you tell a friend, I can't chat right now. Let's catch up tomorrow. Or you decline a committee role that's burned you out in the past. Each time you do, you're building a muscle, the muscle of self-respect. And I promise it gets stronger with use. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one last thought. Boundaries aren't just about saying no. They're about saying yes to what truly fills you up. Yes to mornings spent watching the birds. Yes to long walks without rushing. Yes to finally writing that memoir, or painting, or simply sitting in your favorite chair with a cup of tea and nowhere to be. You've spent decades giving to others. Now it's your time. Not everyone will understand, and that's all right. The people who truly care will adjust. They'll learn to love the version of you that's well-rested, present, and unapologetically yourself. If you found this helpful, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment or share a story about a boundary that's changed your life. Your words might inspire someone else. We got plenty more conversations like this coming your way. Remember, my friend, life isn't a race to see how much you can do for others. It's a gift, one that's meant to be savored, shared, and cherished on your terms. So here's to strong roots, gentle boundaries, and a future where you feel seen, heard, and deeply valued. Exactly as you are.